Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is League Unlocked. I am Eric, that is Mark, and it is time for some LCK Power Rankings. We're going over to Korea. We're going global in Korea, so not actually global. I'm just saying that because the English channel's LCK Global for whatever reason. But the bottom of the LCK has been sticking around. It's been the same three squads for a long time now, and I'm going to tell you right now, the bottom three is the same this week. You got Liv Sandbox, you got Freddy, and you got Nongshim.
You make some chocolate milk, and you reach for the chocolate syrup, and you add the milk in. You get ready to put a little chocolate syrup in, and then you stir it around.
Oh,
but
yeah.
You're a little lazy. You're from North America. You got to watch the LCS too, and you're twirling the spoon around, and you leave it, and you got a little bit of that chocolate syrup just sits at the bottom of your mug. That's how you feel about the bottom.
That's Freddie Brion, Liv Sandbox, and Nongshim.
And maybe putting them as chocolate syrup is a little bit too good, too rich for
the
bottom
brand.
of the.
It ain't Nesquik. It's
this is unsweetened chocolate syrup, baking chocolate syrup.
That's pretty fair. That's fair to talk about.
Hey, they're just sitting at the bottom of your glass, and
they're there
hanging out.
They're there.
Yeah,
they're part of it. You might drink everything
part
but that bottom.
They're there, man. They're there.
Drink every part of it except for that bottom and leave it because it's the nasty part. But the real story in the bottom five is Afrika and KT, because the Afrika Freaks actually had a pretty damn good week. That's why they're climbing to number 6. They had the head-to-head against KT, and it wasn't just a head-to-head. It was a 2-0 shellacking on the side of Afrika. And then they have a highly competitive series against Gen G, where you can legitimately say maybe they coulda, woulda, shoulda won that series. So 2 great series out of Afrika is enough to put them back into gatekeeper status.
Yeah, they're gearing up for the gatekeeping of playoffs, but unfortunately, I can't get on board with the hype and excitement for Afrika finally putting together these good weekends, because when you're looking at the performances, it's been nothing new over the last 2 years. This really was Keen showing up and delivering some star level performances like he should be and should be expected to deliver for the Afrika Freaks. Again, the problem still is remaining that you need to find some value from the rest of this roster if you want to exceed, expectations and excel at a higher level in the LCK. And unfortunately, still throughout these better performances, you're looking at the jungle, you're looking at mid lane, and even frankly, the entirety of bot lane right now. And you're saying you need to provide more. You need to give more support here for what performance and what level of play Keen is offering or is able to tap into right now for the squad.
And I know a lot of the blame, as has been the case for 2 years, always goes on Dread, or it goes on Fly for a lot of these series. Dread actually had some okay to decent performances, even against Gen G, against a guy like Glid. But the bot lane was a big issue in that series. It felt like Ruler and Life, they're the guys who pre-ordered the game, and they get all this stuff that you just start with. You start with extra healing potions, you start with this new armor, and Bang's like, well, oh no, I'm down 20 CS every game, it felt like.
He's on the free-to-play model at this point, and your buddy's on pay-to-win on the other side. It was not a good look. And of course, knowing Ruler and Life, any bot lane, most bot lanes, that's not a good look into them. Yeah, sure, they're absolutely one of our premier bottom lane duos in the LCK and what they're able to pump out. But Bang and Lehens should provide a level of firepower, enough fight back, right, for this Afrika Freak squad. And unfortunately, you didn't see it from that. And as we talked in that series, Keen was providing enough of a fight and enough of a difference maker, and as was the rest of this roster, which we critique and ask for. We're providing the level of fight and not giving up advantages to the other side that you would ask for against Gen G. The bot lane collapsed and fell apart, and that is not something that you can have heading towards these playoffs, even if you are the gatekeepers.
Yeah, I mean, they're behind these big gold and CS differentials, and then Bang never really translated anything into team fights, whereas Ruler is doing Ruler things. We know he's not afraid to be incredibly aggressive, and when he's that far ahead, well, guess what, guys? He can be that aggressive.
And Bang has been better than 100 Thieves and Evil Genius Bang, sure.
Yeah.
But he's been absolutely nowhere close to what we saw with T1, and that's even counting the last year when he left T1, right? When the situation wasn't so great, and he was actually having to step up a lot of times to carry games. very, very far from that level of performance this past weekend.
It's a very distant past, but I'm glad we're not seeing 100 Thieves bang, because that would have been even worse going up against a ruler at Life this week. Now we roll into the top 5, and the theme in power rankings this week is pretty much the exact same top 5. It's pretty locked in, I think, here. I mean, these are going to be your top 5 teams. They'll probably change in order by the time the end of the season rolls around, but all the praise for Afrika taking down KT, they ain't cracking the top 5 here. Not happening.
And you still need to put together at least one more week of results to get by KT in the power rankings, let alone the rest of the teams that we've got ahead of them. And what you feel with this, lack of movement for the LCK, as you said, it's been the trend in a lot of regions. And as we gear towards this playoff run we're aiming for, seems pretty solid and solidified, and maybe we get a little bit of jungling in positions, but this looks to be our group for playoffs.
Yeah, so you have the T1 versus Dam1 matchup that we had. It was a competitive series, goes to the third game. Obviously, everyone's up in arms, upset, mad that Faker's not playing, especially when Closer's playing Rise. But you know what? Dam1 were pretty convincingly in control of that third game. Yes, perhaps a Realm Warp helped push things along in favor of Dam1, but not enough of a competitive third game to put T1 higher. And for DRX and Hanwha, we talked about they were really close. They were super close. We talked about it on Global Power Rankings and the LCK last week. Then we get the head-to-head, and it's a 2-0 for Hanwha, and all of a sudden the gap gets a little bit bigger.
Yeah, that seems to be the situation that we have in this power rankings. For T1, even a win, right, against Dam1 and counting that value, you still think that, I don't know if I can give you that necessary budge ahead of a DRX even after this 1 week. You need to put together a little bit more, given that we know DRX has that head-to-head advantage over T1 and what they were able to do just a week prior. As you said, though, DRX's attention is not about T1 behind them. They don't care about that, which, maybe you can have some conversation about if they should be aware of it. But I think their goals, and as you said, their sights are completely set on that duel with Hanwha Life about getting into that next spot, and came up short in that series. And absolutely one of the big difference makers is your boy Chovy and what he was able to provide. The little bit of a difference in when you're looking at DRX. And as we said, again, Piosik is a star, an emerging star. And, these players are stepping up and playing at a better level. Not quite at supernova Chovy type of levels is a difference. And hey, we see it in sports, traditional sports all the time. The basketball, you got a star player. Well, hey, we have a superstar player, and there's a difference when you have a superstar, and that's exactly what you saw with Chovy.
Yeah, you can't win championships without a superstar in the NBA, and that's pretty true in League of Legends as well. You need at least one, sometimes more superstars on the squad to be making some noise. That's why Hanwha might need a few more. But for now, they're happy in that third spot, ahead of DRX, ahead of T1. Gen.G, we talked about the close series to Afrika. They still got it done. They're still sitting pretty at number 2 with just an incredible overall game score, despite having a few less wins than Dam1. And Dam1, 22-7 overall. They're 11-1. They're number 1. They have been since week 1. They're going to be at the end of week 10, let's be honest.
Yeah, that's the way it looks. But the thing that you'd see with them at the very top, and what we see with this series against T1, I think when you're talking about the elite of the LCK, the teams that you really feel can provide a level of play to an elite level, they will be able to challenge Dam1 in a series, right? When you're talking about these playoffs, you're talking about best of 5s. We will see a series, right? You're going to have to put your very best foot forward and deal with what the squad's going to have. And for Dam1, sometimes that's not going to be enough, is what we're seeing from the top teams in the LCK. They're able to provide that level of a challenge, and that's extremely exciting as a viewer moving into this section of the season. But just looking at Dam1 in a power ranking set, yeah, you're absolutely right, my man. I don't see enough changing or enough opportunities for teams to provide that level to get up to Dam1.
But you're right. When you compare it to last year's summer when they were fully rolling, they felt completely untouchable. You didn't think any team in the LCK could compete against them. Everyone was just calling the LCK a one-team region. They have one good team. That's it. And you feel like they are much more beatable in this spring split than what we saw in summer.
Hey man, we've put out this reference before. We've seen it. This is Thanos. He's got that cut of blood, my man. We've seen it from him. He's not that invincible juggernaut that's gonna come through and snap away the LCK trophy. He's bleeding, man. If you can throw a punch hard enough at the Damwon squad, and from what we've seen from these top LCK teams, like a Gen G, Chovy at his very best with Hanwha Life, DRX finding that youthful energy, and then T1. We're gonna wait and see if we get the lineup that we want for that one. Talk about them really fighting at that level. But these squads have shown they can make a Damwon bleed, and if you're in a series against them, you're absolutely gonna need to get that type of fight.
Problem is they can't all team up like in Avengers. It's Iron Man's got to beat Thanos by himself, and that wouldn't be quite as good a movie.
Spoiler alert, that one's not working.
So Damwon's still looking good atop the LCK power rankings for week 6. That is it today for League Unlock. Eric and Mark here with you guys. Thank you so much for watching. We will catch you on the next one, probably some global power rankings. Catch you on that Flippity Flip.